So of course it'll be a split start grid there with the thousands setting off first. It's Kieran Wynn, Kevin Clinkscales and Kelvin Boswell who will be on the front row there. Daniel Holt, Mark Russell, Tommy Jones not setting a time. Unfortunately, it went down earlier on, just past you there, didn't he, Keith? And then it's Scott Lemon who should round out the thousands. And as they get off underway, and look at a yellow flag being shown there, hand in the air. Somebody stalled it there, unfortunately, as Kevin Clinkscales will take the race lead there. Tommy Jones, I can see from the back of the grid, already punching his way through. And it was a 28 bike of Mark Russell who's just got underway now, so he's given himself a bit of a handicap there, unfortunately, has Mark over the following 10 laps. And we've got a green flag at the back then for the rookie 600s, all eyes to the lights, and away we go then. Once more, pole position man is Dan Preston, Anwar Al-Shawi and Sean Gosling is your front row, but it's going to be the 110 of Sean Gosling ahead of the 999 machine, is just about slots into second place. No, someone goes around the outside there. It could well have been Dan Preston in second place now, ahead of Jack Allen, but Jack making up a few positions already from the start in towards Old Hall Corner. But the thousands already past you, Keith, and the 600s on their way very quickly.
Yeah, they certainly are. They're coming out of Cascades, and somebody's decided to take a real shortcut there. Now, I should have explained to this chap that we're actually using the long circuit, not the short circuit. Now, he's managed to keep the bike upright. I'm going to be able to pick up a number here because he's actually gone to the escape road as well. That is the number 27 machine. Now, oh boy. Well, I guess actually that is going to put Stephen Roberts a long way back, because effectively he's just given himself a half-lap handicap. Here we go.
And does that mean we have to start looking at the lap records, and if you can cut out half the circuit?
Yeah, I think you're going to see the fastest ever standing start by a rookie 600, that's for sure, because he's going to be coming across the line very shortly. In fact, he's already put a triple. Nobody else is going to go purple in the first sector there, mate. He's already gone purple, hasn't he?
Yeah, so he's just coming across the line now, actually. So let's have a look at this opening lap time then. And it's 1:46 from a stand-in start. There you go. How's that?
Actually,
somebody running very wide there. Of course, that was from the 600 as well. So the thousands coming across the line now, actually. And it's the number 190 of Wynn just coming across the line too with the race lead then. So Kieran Wynn has a half a second advantage over Jones. That is 15 of Tommy Jones, the man from Mitcham. We started from the back of the field, but I suppose when you're in a field of 6, it's not too much of a challenge to get through.
Yeah, 140, 146 would actually give the lap record, but unfortunately you can actually do the lap to get the lap record, I guess.
Why does it say that in the rules?
Yeah, it's true actually, yeah. You can find a sneaky shortcut, yeah, why not work it to your advantage? But no, that's a great shame for him, but because at least he was the rookie thousands, you still be on to score a few points, because we've only got about 7 of them here today, haven't we? But the rookie 600s, we've definitely got a few more out to play today. We had 14 of them score points at Brands Hatch, and 11,000 score points at Brands Hatch. So here he comes on his own. He's managed to find his way around a long way on the circuit. Now, he finished quite well up before in the other race, didn't he?
Is that
27, Stephen?
27, I can certainly have a look on that one there for you.
Yeah,
Just a quick...
if you got the results, no, don't worry, mate. If you haven't got the results, don't worry too much.
We've had a 10-second jump start penalty applied, Keith, to number 573 of unfortunately Kean Ketteringham, who took the whole shot earlier on today, went down at Cascades, and has now got a 10-second jump start penalty.
Okay. So no good for him. So no, I am still cutting out here. So the bucket about the pokes of the world doesn't seem to be. You hear me there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, just a little bit funny in the headphone there. Well, hopefully it'll hang in there as I'm watching the rookie 600s big pack there all go through. And obviously we saw the rookie 600s earlier catching the rookie thousands. I'll tell you what, mate, I'm just going to put the microphone down for a second because I need to. No, I'll send a text message and see if we get confirmation what's happening with the laps.
Yeah, no worries at all. So. In the meantime, I can see that Wynn, Jones, Lemon, Clinkscales have all come across the line there. It's the fastest lap of the race now for Tommy Jones at 1:48.152. We mentioned the lap records there. We've got to be in the 46s for the rookie 1000 lap record from Luke Wallington 3 years ago. Incidentally, there, while we're at it, rookie 600 lap record, 1:48.8, which is at the moment at least not being troubled as Sean Gosling leads the way ahead of Dan Preston. Anwar Al-Shawi up next ahead of Jack Allen. Then it's Colwick, Russell, Williams. Russell, bike number 28. That is Mark Russell, who didn't make the best of starts there, getting caught now by the 600s there. Williams, Betts, Mason, Neil, Wood, Benton, Crossman, Ketteringham with that 10-second jump start penalty applied. In fact, with that applied, I don't think it drops him down any further. He's in 13th at the moment there, but Gallagher and Kingston just coming across the line now. They are in 14th and 15th place in class. So the race leaders in the thousands, Keith, over Hilltop heading towards you now. The gap was 0.3 of a second across the line the last time around, with Tommy Jones going 2/10 of a second quicker than Kieran Wynn.
Okay, that's good. It's, the lap record of the thousands, I don't think is going to be one that we're going to see disappearing anytime soon. Again, I haven't got all the result sheets, unfortunately. Did we get close to the lap record in the earlier one? I think we might have in the rookie 600s, didn't we?
Yeah, I'll double check that one. Dan Preston.
Because what's going to confuse things now is I'm going to be going through the bits and pieces of paper, and I hope I remember that Stephen Roberts doesn't actually qualify for that lap record, because it'll be interesting when the results get published. I think there'll be a few people getting a bit upset if he gets qualified for that 146.
Yeah, I think he's in the pits now there, unfortunately.
Okay.
So, yeah, shame there for the number 27 machine. But I'm having a look. Dan Preston was the quickest rookie 600 rider earlier on today with a 49.4. And that lap record is a 48.8. So around about, what's that, 0.6 of a second away earlier on.
Okay, so not unimaginable the lovely conditions we've got here. It's a little bit windy, but good heat in the track there. Maybe that cold wind will just take that excessive heat out of the tyres as well. Wait and see some very colourful machinery here this weekend, that's for sure.
Dan Preston's having a look around actually as he goes in towards Old Hall Corner. He's having a look to his right hand side there and he's cruising as he goes down the avenue and he's pulling off to the right hand side. So I believe that Keith, unfortunately, number 26, our pole position man in the 600s, Dan Preston, may well be a retirement from this race.
That'd be a great shame for Dan, of course, winning 2 of the races back at Brands Hatch there as well. And leading the championship, but only by 13 points from Sean Gosling coming into this round. So obviously if you want to put a championship together, it's important to try and get points in every single race. And if you pull out of a race, you could be giving away a big handful of points. And as you mentioned before, mate, we have seen championships decided by very few points indeed. Number 15 going past me there. Now he was the one who unfortunately lobbed it down here. So clearly his earlier performance has not managed to affect his performance this afternoon. Sorry, just haven't got him on my... sorry, Tommy Jones. Yeah, there we go. The man from Mitcham down there in Surrey. All good. So yeah, Tommy's little excursion earlier hasn't troubled him too much here. Clearly hooking up well. Believe how much these guys are spread out around this track, mate.
No, it's becoming a good battle there actually, isn't it, between the leaders of the thousands.
I think is the main battle we've got on the track.
Yeah, it's a
600 battle not there.
Quarter of a second actually between Kieran Wynn and Tommy Jones as they go down the avenue towards yourself there. You'll see them pretty much locked together as they go through the right of Denton's and the left of Cascades. But we're still waiting for the 144 now of Scott Lemon, the man from Norwich, as he comes across the line now, 3.2 seconds in front of Kevin Clinkscales. And Sean Gosling now getting into the thick of things with the thousands already. He's up to 4th place overall. Sorry, 5th place overall, and he's only 2 seconds behind Kevin Clinkscales and is lapping 5.6 seconds quicker.
Message from Michael Mills as well, mate. I know he's not in this class, but
okay.
Apparently his engine's currently in pieces, but he's listening in on TSL, so thanks very much indeed for the update there, Michael. There we go. All good stuff as we wait for the leaders in the thousands to come down towards me once again, which they duly do. Did you say Sean had a penalty applied though?
No, Kian Ketteringham.
Kian, sorry, the man in 2nd place though. 1st place. No, sorry. Who's leading the race? Sorry, mate. I think we've got the wrong sheet in front of me.
That's right. No. In the thousands, it's Kieran Wynn from Tommy Jones, and then it's Scott Lemon. But in the 600,
there we go. Sorry, I got it now. Sorry, I found the right bit of paper. Sorry, mate.
No, it's Sean Gosling who's leading the way in the 600s there. He is 4.8 seconds up the road from Anbar Al-Shawi.
Okay, now Sean Gosling, of course, is the man who was 2nd in the championship coming into this round. So he'll be very happy to see his main rival in the championship, Daniel Preston, pulling out of the race there. So the leaders in the thousands will be back with you very shortly indeed.
Yep,
how many laps are they going to have left?
So they've just completed lap number 5, and we've got 5 to go for these guys. So Kieran Wynn still leads by a quarter of a second actually. So last time around it was a 49.337 for Kieran, and then Tommy's got a 49.38. So yeah, half a tenth of a second separating them on that previous lap there. as there was a change actually further down the order for Russell and Benton, albeit on circuit and not in class, as the 144 bike of Scott Lemon come past now with a personal best of a 54.198. And Sean Gosling, in fact, is catching him now. He's moved up to 4th place overall as Sean Gosling. He's 3.4 seconds behind Scott, and I suspect in a lap's time he'll be up to 3rd position overall because he's lapping around about 3 seconds quicker.
Okay, I don't know what Kieran Wynn's plans are for the year. I don't know if he plans to do the rest of the season with us at all, because he didn't come to the Brands Hatch round, so not quite sure. Maybe he lives in Wrexham, so it's not a million miles from here, if I remember rightly. He says this, I'm trying to remember where Wrexham is, but hang on, he says I'm going to Google that one now. There we go, Wrexham.
Yeah, I think Wrexham's one of the, I don't know whereabouts it is, but I've heard of it a few times.
Yeah,
but,
it's very local here actually, mate. It's south of Liverpool.
Okay.
So, yeah, no, Wrexham is, so this is his local track, so whether he's one of those guys who's going to come out and play at Oulton Park on a regular basis, or whether he's actually going to try and do the whole series. But most certainly, I would expect Tommy Jones to do so, because Tommy, 4 second places for him at Brands Hatch. There were Minnie Pieces who did a lot of the winning at Brands Hatch, and he's obviously not here this weekend, but I think he's one of those guys I've seen at tracks variously over the years. I think he's one of those perpetual clubmen, basically, or perpetual rookies, I should say. So he just comes out occasionally, picks up the odd trophy, but doesn't bother getting the signatures on his licence. Anyway, it's very difficult to put a whole season together, as anybody who's been involved with racing knows all too well.
Yeah, so we are on lap number 6 now for leading 2 in the thousands there. Scott Lemon will be the next rider across the line on bike number 144. So still waiting for Scott there. I think he's just making his way across the line now. There he goes. And Sean Gosling's right on his tail now, Keith. So Sean Gosling half a second behind Scott Lemon. That is 1,000 and a 600 there. Anwar Al-Shawi has made his way through into second of the 600s there, ahead of the number 50 bike, actually, of Edward Coolwood, the man from New Mills. He's up to 3rd position, ahead of the 317 of Caleb Williams. They've got Kevin Clinkscales in between them there, but it's all close stuff as they came across the line, only half a second separating them.
And while Shawi's another man we didn't see at Brands Hatch on his triumph there, he's from Truro.
I'm sure we saw,
so
we saw
score points. Let me have a look here. No, he didn't seem to score any points. I seem to recall his name from Brands Hatch, but he didn't seem to be on the points board here at all, so maybe he didn't score any points, mate.
No, certainly, because we know that Tony Scott came to the commentary box there and saying that Anmar's on the
that's right, the
GP2, but
the
Evo 2 bike.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, indeed, we saw Tony there, that's right, and yeah, so not quite sure. Because I thought it was a rookie 600 you still score points even on the Moto Evo bike, because at the end of the day there's not a huge advantage to be had at this level really, so yeah, not quite sure what's happened there. Maybe somebody can enlighten us at some point, but hopefully we'll be on the points board here. Again, I don't know, the thing with the rookies is you don't know if they're going to do the whole season. Some people dip their toe in the water and find their toes getting a bit cold, so they don't want to do the rest of the season. Other people suddenly realise that being a quick guy at the track day does not make you a quick racer, and decide that they can't handle the humiliation, basically. Other people think, no, I want to be good at this, so I'm going to plug away at it, basically. It's not one of those things that many people are instantly good at, that's for sure, Bradley.
No, you're absolutely right there. I'm just having a look further down the order. There's a bit of a difference in the lap times there, isn't there, the further down you go. But Kieran Wynn and Tommy Jones still continuing their battle. 0.3 of a second was the difference as they came across the line the previous time around there. So there is 7 laps down, and they're heading towards Britain chicane now, Keith. Is Kieran and Tommy. So like I say, 0.337 was the gap as they came across the line the previous time around. Over Hilltop they go, heading towards yourself. And you see Kean Ketteringham just making his way past you as well. But yeah, it's spread out quite significantly.
Certainly has. Leaders in the thousands, you say, just going past me now up the hill, disappearing out very rapidly. And might look at the Hilltop, and the next bike still hasn't come over. And those guys are going to be well into Druids and under the Warwick Bridge. And the back straight here doesn't seem to have a name, really. The one between Druids and Lodge. I'm surprised about that, really. Here we go. Down the hill come the next battling bunch. Of course, that is the 600s now who are arguing over the lead, and it doesn't look like there's a change there as the 110, or the 110, sorry, Machine Sean Gosling leads the way with a relatively comfortable lead. The laps are going to be counting down for Sean now. He gets to that point in the race where you're enjoying the race, but you think, hang on, I'm leading here. I want that flag to come out as soon as possible, really.
Yeah, definitely. You're on to
Still waiting for confirmation as well. Hopefully somebody will see my message. Just want to get confirmation from race control as to this afternoon's lap time. So we've got around about 3 hours to finish the meeting. It sounds like a lot of time, but when it's taking about 20 minutes for a race, it means we're going to run out of time very quickly indeed. So they do these things very carefully. They calculate the number of laps. They've got a bit of software that does that sort of stuff for them. So we're still going to have 10 races to go, and I don't think 10 laps is going to be on the cards, quite frankly. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 8 or maybe even 7 lap races the rest of the afternoon to make sure we get the pros. Don't want to carry over any races because it's always annoying. We pay their money to be here, and obviously the lovely Oulton Park track is not quite the same as the Snetterton track somehow.
No, you're right. There's a little bit of a difference between Snetterton and Oulton Park, isn't there? But
both nice places, no problem at all with the new Snetterton layout whatsoever. But it ain't Oulton Park. Nowhere is Oulton Park at the end of the day.
No, that's right. We are on to the penultimate lap now. I think the last lap flag will be getting readied once the leaders of the thousands head towards us. So the gap was 1.1 last time around, and Kieran Wynn got the hammer down on that previous lap there, Keith. 1 minute 47.761 for Kieran. And he's gone purple in the sector 1 actually to open up his advantage by a further 7 tenths. So we'll keep an eye on that one as they come across the line. In fact, there goes Kieran now, and it's a 47.441 with purple in both sectors for Kieran Wynn, bike number 190. So we are on to the last lap then. Just over 2.5 miles remain in this race for the LMW contractors, rookie 600s and the rookie 1000s. 3 seconds is the gap between Kieran Wynn and Tommy Jones, and I think that may be a bit too much of a gap for Tommy to overcome, unfortunately.
I reckon so. He's going to have a go. You've got to be a little bit closer than that on the last lap to really punch your way through, haven't you? And yeah, that's quite a substantial margin he's got going on there. I think that could be an easy race win coming as well. There's no such thing as an easy race win, to be fair. You've got to keep it on the island for 10 laps around here. That's 25 miles, which you're completing in a very short space of time. Chicane. Tyre wear can become a factor, not too much with these guys. I would have thought 10 laps around Oulton Park circuit probably wouldn't destroy a tyre in any great hurry unless you're already compromising the sort of rubber that you're running. And again, that's something that comes into being a club racer, is trying to get the most out of your tyres. And unfortunately, you can literally come unstuck as the leaders come back past me once again. Yep, and okay, that's a 1000cc bike putting a lap on a 1000cc bike. So yeah, you're right. Some people you see a lot less experienced or a lot more in awe of their own ability than they really should be. That's for sure. Because getting lapped around Oulton Park in 10 laps is not brilliant, really, is it, Bradley?
No, it's not what you'd expect
around here, isn't it?
It's not what you'd expect, I suspect, when you're lining up on the grid there. But I can see that the checker flag now beckons and is being waved to the number 910 of Kieran Wynn, so he'll be happy with that for sure. As Kieran Wynn comes across the line there, I can see the ZX10R Kawasaki of 15 Tommy Jones, the black and the blue Kawasaki there, to take second position in this race. It will be at 8.3 seconds at the end of that one. So in the midpoint of that race, when they was only separated by a tenth of a second or so, you would not have guessed that they would be separated by just over 8 seconds on the final lap. But whether it's by a tenth or by 8 seconds, a second is still 20 points, and you're not going to say no to that.
You sure are. And if you're trying to put together a competitive season, points, as we often say, make prizes. Okay, I can see the recovery van. That's the Button Express heading out onto the circuit, which means that somebody's going to get retrieved there. So that's heading up lakeside towards Island Bend, so it'll be somewhere across the back behind the hill that we can't see anything of.